What is up guys, it's your boy Swell, I'm here, back with another classic WoW video for Season of Discovery Phase 4. We have a brand new update for the PTR, aka Public Test Realm. That means things that you can try out right now on the Public Test Realm. Well, maybe not right now, depends on how long the servers are going to be down for maintenance, but the servers are down right now. That being said, we have a blue post to look at, so I want to talk about this blue post with you guys today, because there are some pretty significant changes in this first update to the PTR. Like, we had PTR come out about 1.5 weeks ago-ish, and we've been testing quite a bit since then, found some things that need to be adjusted, and they're already on it. Not just small changes either, there's a big list here, and I've skimmed through it really fast, and some of the changes are really good. Either way, let's take a look at it together and see what they have in store for us for the first big update to the PTR. I'm expecting kind of weekly changes at this point, maybe bi-weekly or something, but TLDR, even if it's not looking good right now, some of the classes will still get readjusted, nerfed, buffed, brand new abilities. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be a wild ride to see where they go here, but it already looks like they're listening to feedback. That being said, once again, it's a long post, so we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to read through everything, and you can leave your thoughts in the comments down below as well. Stay tuned until the end, because there's some pretty juicy stuff. Now, testing focus, we have made a number of adjustments to classes since our previous release, and we are continuing to review feedback. We would encourage you to test the new changes and continue to provide commentary in this forum. We greatly appreciate all of the feedback that we have received so far. This week we have also significantly buffed Testwork's health and damage to allow the fight to last around twice as long, and to put a bit more pressure on the healers and the tanks for better test data, so please give him a try as well. Lastly, we are also enabling the Blackrock Eruption event on the PTR to allow players to test that out as well. You can find more information about the Blackrock Eruption event down below. I'm really excited for this, because this one has been all around the place. It's been talked about as a PvE event, PvP event, because so far the only PvP event we had was Stranglethorn being buffed to level 60 content, and nothing about what this Blackrock Corruption event was. So we have it now, we can test it out, and there's a big text about it here as well. So what is the Blackrock Corruption? Well, occurring every 2 hours, starting at midnight, so occurring every 2 hours. That means midnight, 2 AM, 4 AM, right, every 2 hours from there. The Blackrock Eruption event will occur. While the event is active, additional spawns and environmental hazards will occur in Searing Gorge. This will be expanded to Burning Steppes as well in a later update, and players will gain access to new daily quests at Thorium Point. Players will also receive a large bonus to honor gained while inside of Blackrock Mountain, specifically Blackrock Mountain. Okay, that's pretty interesting. And let me just scroll down a little bit here. So conversely, players will gain no honor from World PvP while in Searing Gorge. Wait, what? Players will gain no honor from World PvP while in Searing Gorge or Burning Steppes while the event is active. But in the Blackrock Mountain you will, or... Okay, nice. Developers note the intention of this event is an optional activity for players to do every single day to earn additional Thorium, Brotherhood, and the Hydraction Waterlord's reputation, should they choose to do so, as well as create a flashpoint for World PvP focused on the interior of Blackrock Mountain. You know, I think that sounds great, because that way in the World PvP doesn't... You can basically segment, so you have PvE happening here and PvP happening there, and then you get no honor points if you go and kill the people that are doing their daily quest. That sounds good. We have listened to a lot of player feedback around World PvP and these types of events, and while PvP can and should occur on a PvP server, we are going to heavily incentivize you to move your conflict inside the mountains itself while the event is active, with a sizable honor buff inside that mountain. Ultimately, this content is meant to be a lightweight optional activity that players can participate in to supplement the endgame reputation gain, and gain a bit of gold with very modest daily investment of time, as well as to give us a reason to recreate some of the old epic battles that we all remember so well inside of Blackrock Mountain. That sounds great to me. And if there's one thing we learned from incursions, well, first of all, we learned that they suck, but also people will gank those quest givers, because in certain times of Phase 3, that was the best way to farm honor. You would make a 10-man, 20-man, 30-man, 40-man party of max levels and just gank low levels or like level 40 plus around the quest givers, and that would be the best way to gain honor points, which if we get something like that again, that would be bad, which is why they're probably doing this. They're trying to make it so that when you're doing PvP, you still can, and you're incentivized to just do it in a different place where people are doing PvP, and that way you are disincentivized or de-incentivized, like, I don't know what to call it, but like, you're not incentivized to go out and kill low people that are doing their dailies, and people can do their dailies in peace, hopefully, maybe. To me, that event actually sounds insanely good, and really good as well, and giving us more reputation on a daily basis with Taurian Brotherhood and Hydration Waterlords. That is a welcome change, because I haven't farmed any of those, so for me that's really good. Apart from that, we have some general PTR adjustments, so template characters. All template characters have been updated to account for the changes below. Class templates have also been updated to have access to all available flight paths, and several classes were missing weapon skills or access to weapons themselves. This has been corrected. Developers note you will need to recreate characters to pick up these fixes, so keep that in mind. You might have to make a brand new character on the PTR, but that shouldn't really be a problem. If you want to have the same kind of setup that you had in the past, you can just delete your current character and make the exact same one with the same name, and your cache folder thing kind of carries over, so many of the add-on settings, many of the main settings as well, they remain intact. Now, apart from that, vendors have been updated with a few additional consumables, good. Vendors have also been updated to add any new skill books that were added since the previous round of PTR. Newly created template characters will already have these learned. So, test work. Base damage increased by 50%, this is the boss by the way. Hateful strike damage increased by 75%, and the health has been doubled. So basically, there's more pressure on the tanks and the healers. Tanks have to use survival cooldowns, and healers have to actually heal, and then the fights will be longer as well. Class adjustments, developers notes on tanks. We have made an adjustment to allow each tank's primary AoE ability to hit a larger number of targets, in most cases 10 or more. Going into Season of Discovery, we hope to maintain some of the rewarding gameplay and challenge the tanks faced in OG WoW and keep AoE threat a bit lower relative to newer versions of WoW. But as time has gone by, our perspective on this has changed for Season of Discovery, as damage dealing classes have gained more AoE tools and damage in general. As a result, we have decided to open up each tank class's AoE capabilities a little bit more. Many groups may find that large pools in Season of Discovery with a higher damage that creatures deal, particularly at or near level 60, to be quite deadly, so a good strategy and plan for CC is still recommended in most dungeons. Basically, tanks will have way more AoE threat, and not just that, but instant AoE threat as well, by being able to hit multiple targets. As a warrior, for example, instead of thunderclapping between 3 and 5 enemies, you can now probably thunderclap 10, we're going to scroll down and take a look, and that gives you more threat on those 10 mobs, instead of just thunderclapping 5, then manually hitting all the other ones. Either way, let's take a look at all the class changes. There's quite a few here. Some classes have gotten a lot more changes than other ones, and I'll take a look at that. But first of all, Druid. The Fury of Stormrage rune now states that it allows the use of Wrath while in Tree of Life form. So there we go. Nourish now benefits from the improved regrowth talent and benefits from effects that interact with regrowth. That's pretty good. Finally, that will be worth casting. Fixed a bug enabling efflorescence ticks from being able to critically hit. Wait, you fixed a bug enabling those ticks from being able to crit? I mean, that just sounds like a fun gameplay type of thing, making them allowed to crit, like critically hit. Because you're already making bleeds from ferals able to crit, right? Make healing over time also able to crit. Also efflorescence ticks. Elvin's Fires now extends the duration of Moonfire and Sunfire up to its initial duration, that's good, but there's no longer a limit on the number of refreshes per ability. That's pretty good though. Moonkin form now provides the Druid with 2 spell power per the Druid's character level and allows Insect Swarm, Moonfire and Sunfire's damage over time effect to critically hit. There we go, boys. Boomkin is back, baby. So I mean, at level 60, that would be 120 spell power right there. Only for the druid though, right? Provides a druid with 2 spell power per level. So if you're just leveling one as well, you can get a nice little buff really early, like level 10. Well, I mean, how early do you get Boomkin form now? Let's just say level 30. Level 30 you get plus 60 spell power. That is pretty significant. And level 60 you would have 120. That's pretty nice. Dream State tooltip updated to reflect that it only triggers from non-periodic critical strikes. That's pretty good. Like, it's not good, but it's good that it's stated at least. Improved Swipe now increases the maximum targets on Bear to 10 targets. So once again, tank AoE ability, primary ability as well, 10 targets. For Hunters, only 2 lines here. The Heart of the Lion aura no longer cancels itself after a few seconds of being active. Good. Was that happening only on the PTR? Only PTR, right? Fixed an issue with the stables, preventing hunter pets from being able to be stabled or summoned on the PTR. Hey, good fix. Hunter probably needs a little bit more tuning though overall, but so far so good, I suppose. Mages as well, and the Hot Streak rune has been moved to the Helm slot, and the Rewind Timer rune has been moved to the Wrist slot. I'm gonna say, first of all, good. Both of these are good, but moving the Hot Streak to the Helm slot, unless they make something happen, it won't do much, because it can't proc from Frostfire bolts, right? Or Balefires. Maybe Balefires, but at least not Frostfires. So the gameplay or the buttons that mages press, even if you do this, would be the same. To where we can't proc Hot Streak from casting Frostfire bolts, right? It wouldn't help us in any way, shape or form unless they make us able to proc Hot Streak from Frostfire Bolt. Or they have to significantly buff Fireball to whoever is spamming Fireballs again, Fireball and Scorch, because now the whole gameplay loop has gone from Fireball and Scorch to now being applying 3 stacks of Scorch to get the fire damage debuff, and then spamming Frostfire Bolt, which can't proc the Hot Streaks. So they have to make Hot Streak proccable by Frostfire Bolts, or significantly buff the damage of Fireball, or do something about the gameplay. Simply moving the rune won't do much. It's a good start, but it won't do much like in itself. Now, for priests, Vampiric Touch now gains properly additional benefits from the following talents: Blackout, Shadow Affinity, Shadow Focus, Shadow Reach, Darkness, Martyrdom, and Inner Focus. Pain and Suffering has been adjusted, Mind Blast, Mind Spike, and Mind Flay refresh the duration of one of your Shadow Word Pain, Void Plague, or Vampiric Touch abilities on the target back to its maximum duration. The ability, yeah, good, I was about to ask, is it going to be random or not? The ability with the shortest remaining duration will always be the one refreshed. So instead of having to use globals or even cast times sometimes to refresh damage over times, you can just keep hard casting your instant hitting abilities and they will refresh all of your damage over times. That's pretty good, pretty significant as well. Vampiric Touch now also applies Vampiric Embrace, including when it is refreshed by Pain and Suffering. Yo, what? Shadow Priest insane? The curse debuff cast by Eye of the Void no longer has a cooldown. Minds here now also damages the primary target. Shadow Priest overpowered, dude. Yeah, Shadow Priest overpowered. Like, what is this? That's pretty insane. Next up we have the Paladin. The Divine Light has been moved to the Cloak rune slot. The additional damage shield from Divine Light Overhealing will now also apply to Beacon of Light targets. Fixed an issue causing Holy Shield to deal too much damage. Ooh. Adjusted the tooltip of the Hallowed Ground to clarify that damage does not need to be dealt to enemies, with Consecrate to heal allies. Fixed an issue allowing the heal over time effect from Fanaticism from being able to crit. I think I said this correctly on the first try here and I'm super proud, but if I didn't then I'm super not proud. The Aegis rune now also allows the Paladin to gain a plus 2% chance per talent point in the Reckoning talent to learn to trigger the Reckoning effect when receiving a melee or ranged attack. The additional damage over time caused by critical strikes with the Righteous Vengeance rune has been increased to 50% of the damage inflicted by the Paladin ability that triggered it. And a new spell has been added via spellbook. Divine Steed increases the Paladin's movement speed by 100% for 3 seconds on a 45-second cooldown. I believe we have this one in Wrath, we definitely have it in Retail, so I mean, this is an ability that if you played any other versions of WoW, past like Classic WoW, then you might have like seen this one, but it's a temporary mount, basically. It's a temporary mount for 3 seconds, pretty good. Next up we have Rogues. Fix an issue preventing more than one rogue's application of deadly or occult poison from being present on a target. Fix an issue causing Fan of Knives to generate energy from focused attacks with offhand critical strikes. The attack power bonus granted from defense skill has been moved from rolling with the punches to blade dance. Not sure why, I don't play a rogue, but there it is. Resolved a bug causing the bonus energy effect from relentless strikes to have a chance to proc once per target hit with Crimson Tempest rather than once per spell cast of Crimson Tempest. That is a big buff by itself. Poisoned Knife now refunds 5 energy per number of stacks of deadly or occult poison on the target. Shuriken Toss now grants 1 combo point per enemy hit, and a 30-second cooldown has been added to it. So, I mean, combo point, nice. Cooldown, not good, but probably good overall, but it's a nerf, kind of. Saber Slash now stacks 3 times instead of 5, granting a 33% damage increase per stack, up from 20%. Now, basically just a redesign. To me, this should be roughly the same amount of damage, right? From the ability, but redesigned from 3 or like from 5 to 3 strikes. Alright, next up we have the Shaman. While using the Shield Mastery rune, the attack power bonus granted from defense skill is now triggered by the use of a Flame Shock. The attack speed bonus granted by two-handed weapon specialization rune after landing a melee attack on an enemy with a two-handed weapon equipped has been increased to 50%. I don't know what it was in the past, but 50% is pretty huge. Maelstrom Weapon now has a significantly higher chance to proc with two-handed weapons equipped. Lovely. I've been looking for this, and that's lovely. Making two-handed, ooh, I might have to play Horde, dude. Molten Blast can now hit up to 10 targets, so that's a tank thing again, right? Where the tank main AoE ability can now hit 10 targets. Pretty good. The maximum rank of all weapon imbues now has a 1 hour duration. Yeah, dude, that's pretty nice. Next up we have Warlock. The Felguard has gained the Demonic Frenzy ability, causing the Felguard's melee attack to grant 5% additional attack power for 10 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. Now, when you have 10 stacks, that is 50% attack power for 10 seconds, and can you just keep refreshing that so you have 50% the whole fight? That would just make Felguards so overpowered, and would be lovely. Soul Siphon now grants Drain Soul up to 300% increased damage when targets are below 20% health. As someone who's played Warlock recently in Cataclysm, and been playing one for the majority of Wrath, this is basically what we had in Wrath. It's the execute of an Affliction Warlock, but for any Warlocks in this case, where you just deal more damage in the execution phase below 20%. Pretty nice though. Lake of Fire has been redesigned and now causes Rain of Fire to be instant cast with no channeling time, but now has an 8-second cooldown. This change is lovely. This is amazing. I would maybe rather have the old version of Lake of Fire that we had in Phase 1, but this is way better than what we currently have, or I guess in this case had. This is nice. Then Backdraft now increases casting speed for 15 seconds, up from 10. Also very good for Warlocks. Shadow Cleave can now hit up to 10 targets, pretty good. And Mark of Chaos has been redesigned. Now causes Curse of Agony and Curse of Doom to apply the Mark of Chaos to the target for their duration, reducing the target's resistances by up to 75, and increases the target's spell damage taken by up to 10%. Now, I have no idea what Mark of Chaos was before, but this is great, this is insane, this is amazing, and I love this. This is amazing. Now, lastly, we have the warriors. We all know that people play, we have a lot of warriors players in Classic WoW, and Season of Discovery is not different at all. We still have a lot of warrior players, and warriors were not looking that great in the last version of the PTR, but they've been getting some changes here. So first of all, Shield Slam now gains 15% of attack power as additional damage. Single-Minded Fury has been adjusted, now grants a single-minded buff that stacks up to 5 times, granting 2% attack speed while you continue attacking the same target with auto attacks. The movement speed effect has been reduced back to 10%, and the threat reduction component has been removed, as stated right here. So once again, we're back to 10% attack speed for Single-Minded Fury, but it's a build-up kind of buff. So you get a 1-stack buff, granting 2%, stackable to 5 times, so that's 10%, but only while you continue attacking the same target. So the question is, will this automatically drop when you swap target? It looks like it, based on not having a timer related to the buff. So it seems to be just a buff you have while attacking the current target, and the second you swap target, this buff would fall off, and you would have to build it up over again. And it's also triggered by auto attacks, but this should be really fast to build up, and even if you have to swap bosses, for example, shouldn't really be a problem. It's only when you have adds of, let's say you have 10 adds. It would be hard to keep this up for all 10 targets, but if you have 2 targets and you, for example, hit one target for 30 seconds and then go to the other target for 30 seconds, building this up should be very fast. Next up, we have an additional effect has been added to Gladiator stance to increase rage generation when attacking a target that is not actively attacking the warrior. Pretty nice. And then we have Thunderclap being able to hit up to 10 targets, so that's the AoE ability, right, for tanks, or, well, yeah, mainly for tanks. A new ability has been added via Spellbook, the Valor of Azeroth. Valor of Azeroth grants all party and raid members 1.5 times the warrior's level in attack power. Now, we don't know when this can be learned. Is it a level 10 ability, level 20 ability? That's kind of whatever though, like assuming in phase 4, let's say we are level 60, right? This would be 90 attack power right here at level 60, melee and range, so this counts for both, and a 5% crit chance to all spells and attacks. This is not cumulative with the rallying cry of the Dragonslayer. Now, there's a developer's note here. We are trying a rather radical change, or a new change, to essentially allow WoW warriors to provide themselves and raid members with Dragonslayer Lite, in case they or other raid members don't have, or have unfortunately lost their world buffs. Warriors in particular gain a massive amount of power from world buffs, and the class can feel a lot less satisfying without them. So while this won't raise a warrior's overall maximum throughput, it should help bring the floor up in situations where warriors have to go without world buffs. This is an experimental change for the PTR, and we may remove it or iterate on this change before phase 4 releases. We are hoping that this provides some interesting raid utility for warriors should wipes or deaths occur, allowing them and their party/raid members to get a portion of the power that they gained from world buffs after losing them. So I mean, they already said here in the developer's note that this is a rather radical change. It's a radical new change, and I don't know how people are going to react to this, but I'm super hyped, and I think this would be great, because once again, like they said themselves, you're not raising the maximum power throughput here, you are just bringing the floor closer to the ceiling, kind of minimizing that gap. And it also makes it so that if you are unfortunate enough to die due to a mechanic, or let's say you die in a raid to something that wasn't even your fault, losing your world buffs that you took a lot of time out of your day to go and get, and then losing them due to another player's mistake, that feels really bad, especially for a warrior where like the power gain from world buffs are that massive. It really feels bad. So for me, having this ability, I think it's a great thing, would be a great thing, and I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Anyone who's watching this video, if you've been playing the PTR, let me know in the comments down below what you think about about this Dragonslayer Lite thing. Is it a good ability? Is it a good addition to Classic WoW Season of Discovery? Or would you rather only have world buffs, and if you lose them, you're back to being a potato? For me, I think, once again, due to having the ability to die, and it not being your fault, losing your world buffs to a death that isn't your fault just feels so bad. And for warriors that gain so much power from these buffs, having this Dragonslayer Lite buff, allowing you to get some of that power back, would be great, and I think it would be a good addition. Either way, once again, I would love to hear your comments on this in the comments down below. Now, I'm gonna say this, I'm super pumped about these changes so far. Just class adjustments like this makes me super happy, and reading more about the Blackrock Eruption event as well makes me super happy. Now, once again, I will say, Hunters and Mages needs a lot more love, maybe some redesigns, maybe some buffs, maybe just like moving things around, and making it so Frostfire Bolt can now proc Hot Streak, or something like that. Mages and Hunters needs a bunch more love, and maybe some other classes too, but I mean the other classes did get a lot of love though in this build. Either way, that's pretty much what I have for you today. Wanted to cover the blue post with you guys and ask for some feedback in the comments. Either way, jump on the PTR, and the servers are about to come back right now. Actually, they are back right now, so all I have to do is just refresh this and I can go in and test it out. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video today. Leave a like down below, let me know if you're excited for Phase 4 in the comments as well, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you again in the next video very soon.